Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a while since I've made any kind of video, but I thought I'd get back into the swing of things with the Grimrock 2 guide. Since playing Grimrock 1, I've played through a couple of custom dungeons, and I thought it was about time to get stuck into Grimrock 2. I'll give you an introduction to my team in a second. I'll just get past this beach area. I've got a heavy weapon here, which makes sense for the Minotaur Barbarians I have. First fight of the game. A nice gentle introduction. Plenty of space to dance around. Assuming I can actually hit anything. I'll try and highlight all of the secrets when I find them. Ideally, I'll show you all of them, assuming I don't forget any. This is our first alchemy ingredient, so Jasmin can have that, our Alchemist. The only issue here is not to get attacked by both of these at the same time, but we should be okay. Jasmin in the back row has some magic skills, but as she's got no wand yet or staff, she can't actually cast anything, so she's going to be a bit useless until that point. And eventually my fighter here will be able to attack from the back row, but he needs a level up first before he can do that. I thought with this playthrough, rather than going with a magic heavy team like I usually do, try and have a few more melee guys in the team. Yeah, maybe in the early levels actually, I can move my fighter to the front row, and then once he makes level 2, I'll put him in the back. That makes a bit more sense. Turtle eggs, the lizards like to eat those, it's their favourite food, so give the eggs to the lizard characters. And here's our first secret. Way. You can keep track of the secret count by looking in the stats option. So it's somewhere around here, there we go. Secrets found, 1 out of 77. Couple of poison arrows here, which will come in handy. I think the scale with strength, so the rogue's not the best guy to have them. Having a Minotaur in the back row, who is actually a throwing specialist, can be quite useful actually, given that throwing actually scales with strength. But having 2 Minotaurs in a team can give you some food issues later on. Oliver has the key, there we go. So I'll give you an introduction to my team now then. So in the front row we have Oliver, the Minotaur Barbarian. He'll be specialising in heavy armour and heavy weapons. And then the rest of his points will go into accuracy, so he can actually hit something, as Minotaurs start out with terrible accuracy. Next we have me, the Lizardman fighter. I'll be in the back row with 2 points in accuracy. Then the rest will be in heavy weapons and critical. Nico will then go to the front row and max light weapons, armour and a bit of accuracy, and he'll be wielding dex weapons, whereas these two guys have the strength weapons. And then Jasmin in the back row will be focusing on alchemy, but later on she'll put some points into air magic and concentration once she actually has the staff to use them. Expect Oliver to miss a lot early on. Those Minotaurs really need points in accuracy. But when he does hit, he'll make it count. Okay, no food off that guy. That's a bit stingy. Another turtle over there. But we get a note off the island master welcoming us to the island. And also at the end of the note, it'll actually mention that we need to get equipped before night falls, as there's a day-night cycle in the game. I don't think that the evening has any special effects besides just making it dark. I don't think any particular creatures come out exclusively at night time. We've got our standard healing crystal for bringing our characters back to life. Scroll of Fire Burst. That's not going to be any use at all, as I'm not going into fire magic, so I'll leave it behind. We'll be seeing more of these throughout the game. These guys give out some pretty major league clues. We'll deal with him later. So let's go and kill that other turtle now. Okay, it's just the one. Most enemies in Grimrock 2 react a little bit quicker than they used to do in Grimrock 1. So dancing around isn't quite as effective as it used to be, but it's still a lot better than fighting them face to face. So here's the exit, which we can't go through yet. We need to call out the guardians from this circle. We don't have the item to do that yet. And here's our first gold key lock. But we don't have any gold keys yet. Here's our first puzzle. X marks the spot. So we have to mark out an X on these pressure plates using the items we've picked up. It doesn't matter what we use, as we'll get the items back at the end. There we go. I find it helps to keep the weapons on the inside here rather than in the outside hands. That way in combat you can quickly click on these 4 things in quick succession. There's less mouse movement involved. These guys actually do hit quite hard. It's best to kite them back if you can. And they tend to dodge as well. As you saw there. But we can't really complain about dodging too much, given that we do it all the time. And now that I've thrown all my projectiles, it's where, at this stage, where I really miss out on the damage from the back line. Early on, I don't really want fights to last that long. We better kill this guy quickly, otherwise we'll end up facing two of them. As long as we don't get surrounded, we should be okay. Just quickly pick up those. Does get quite annoying fighting these guys early on when you can't burst them down. And given spells can't miss, it would be useful to have a bit of magic early on. Okay, at last. That dragged on a bit longer than I expected. Let's try and get our throwing items back. So there's a message here telling us the most important thing for a captain is his sword, which is giving us the clue that we actually need to find a sword to place in the hands of this statue. So that's the next thing we've got to do, really. Yeah, when these two guys level up, the first thing they're going to do is get some points into accuracy. Galden needs it so we can attack from the back row, but Oliver needs it as well just so we can hit anything. It does get a bit depressing when combat just drags in. So we'll give this peasant's cap to Galden, it's a bit more protection. There's a bit of falcon sky for Jasmin. I think we craft, is it mana potions with those? Or, oh, dexterity. I think maybe speed potions once we get the recipe for it. And these are the ones you use to craft health potions. So we need to find the key to open this gate. So we started off here and we worked our way through, found our first secret here, and now we need to step through the wind gate on this square, which puts us in a room with this turtle. But definitely having fast clicking fingers and having your items on the inside here is definitely a big damage boost. At least I think it is. So now we have a sling to make better use of those stones. So this dagger is a dex-based weapon. So I guess once Nico ends up on the front row, he might end up using that. But I don't think it's worth really giving it to my fighter for now. It might work out as a slight damage increase over the branches get, but I don't think it's really worth working at. these guys, we need to start kiting them back a little bit. Try and stay 2 squares away so the jump attack can't catch you out. Need to be careful here that we don't get surrounded. We should be fine. And again, I think the guy at the back is the one we damaged early on. That's a nice little combo. We got the healing crystal here next to us, so there's not much chance of dying here, unless we get surrounded. Okay, that's good. It's always quite good to actually be fighting enemies, otherwise you don't get the XP and you'll end up struggling later on. So there's not a great deal of value in actually kiting these guys around, unless you're trying to like speed run through the game. Right, so now we can go into the room those guys were guarding. And we automatically pick up our items off the floor along the way. I guess we can use that torch now just to light things up. We'll let the Minotaur, Oliver, do most of the carrying. So here's a shovel that we'll need to use throughout the game to uncover a few secrets. Here's the sword we need for the statues. And a note here of Captain Kilhagen telling us to dig behind the tree near the healing crystal. And another useless spell, Poison Cloud. I think poison magic is the most underpowered magic in the game. Most of the time, bursting people down is better than applying like a damage over time poison effect. So this door opens now, but we'll take the torch back to put into the other statue that we uncovered just before. So here's our first gold key. So it's a light weapon, scales with strength, so I might not use that, but I'll keep it. And now we can use our first gold key on the door over here. Some of you may not want to do this, it depends what party build you're going with. But a potion of strength is good for the Minotaur early on. You get your permanent 1 strength increase. Pellets, kinda useless. And we get the backbiter, which is a dex scaling light weapon, which is just what Nico will need when he goes back to the front row when he hits level 2, R3. Yeah, the special attack requires light weapons 3, but just to use regular attacks, you can use it straight off. So now the only thing we can do, we can't solve this circle puzzle yet and call out the Guardians. The only thing that's left is to go down these stairs. And also, against enemies that are weak to fire, you can actually use this torch as a weapon, as it does fire damage. It can be useful against mummies and tree creatures. So we're back into the traditional Grimrock type dungeon now. Lockpicks. There's no shortage of these as the game goes on. Early on you might find that you're short of a lockpick or two, but sooner or later you'll have plenty of them. So that's the first spell we can actually use, the shock spell. I just need to have a staff in my hand to be able to actually use it. So let's check out the food situation. Oliver's a bit hungry, so he can have some fish. Galden's a bit hungry as well, so we can have the turtle egg. I think if the lizards eat enough of these turtle eggs, it's a special food for them, so they get a stat increase after they eat a certain amount of them. I think I'll save this egg for Galden and don't bother giving it to Nico yet. I believe Galden gets hungrier a little bit quicker because I've gone for the fast metabolism trait. Being a fighter in the back row, he'll be using a lot of special attacks, so having the 30% faster energy regeneration rate is going to be really important for Galden in the back row. Whereas in the front row, even though we have another Lizardman rogue, he'll just be using regular attacks mainly, so he doesn't need that bonus energy regen. So we can hear a creature just shuffling around here. And we can use the torch for the fire damage rather than our regular stick. You can see how the damage number appears red when you hit him with the torch. Okay. So leather boots, a bit more protection than the shoes, so I'll give those to Galden for now. Oliver put points into health at the start, so he's naturally a bit more tanky, so I'll give the main armour to my other frontline character. So now we get some pellets and a gun, none of which is any use, but I think I'll keep the box for now. Having a firearms character can be quite good. Early on you might be short of ammo, but by the end of the game you could have easily a couple of, maybe up to 100 rounds left, plus maybe a load of cannons, or cannonballs, depending on if you bothered using that weapon. But yeah, as long as you ration your rounds well, you shouldn't actually be running out of ammunition for your gun. But in this team, I want mostly a melee-based team. I got a bit sick of having like ranged characters all the time. When these fights tend to drag on, it can be tempting to just stand in front of them and like tank the damage. But as you never know what's coming next, it's useful to always keep dodging and be patient. Nice, level ups for everyone. So just need to pick up all of our projectile weapons. Okay, so the Lizardman fighter, he needs to go into the back row. So to do that, he needs 2 points in accuracy. So let's do that straight away. So he can now go back here and attack with the stick. Yeah, the rogue early on, it doesn't matter too much. He might take a bit of a beating early on, So I think a point into armour is going to serve him better than a point into light weapons. And now Nico's in the front row. He doesn't need these projectile weapons, and he can now have his backbiter. Yeah, the Minotaur, like I said, he needs that point in accuracy. He'll get a big boost out of damage with heavy weapons, but equally, if you're not hitting anything, you're not going to do much damage either. I believe you need to get your accuracy over 10 for it to have any effect. So one more level up into accuracy and I think we'll be set here. And then the final level up for Jasmin. And again I want to focus on alchemy early on. So now we've done these level ups, I think we're set now to get out of this place. Everyone's got just what they need. That's another stone, I guess. Maybe we can give this. Give the sling to Jasmin maybe. Might do some good. But really I don't think it's that much use now. So I just need to find the key to this door. It's not hard to find. Here it is. And again I'll back off here to this side, so I've got an escape path behind me. Rather than backing off the other way and leaving myself potentially to get trapped. That's nice, I can already feel the increased damage from my team. The final piece of the puzzle will be to get a staff for Jasmin. Then we'll be ready to roll. So here's a horn of summoning that we need to exit the level. So now we can escape here and we should be back near the healing crystal. I don't think anyone needs to actually use it. And now looking at that note we found earlier, at the lone oak in the shadow of the blue light, I buried it. Well, this area here is in the shadow of the blue light, and also if you look carefully at this tree, you can see there's a K for Captain Killigan inscribed here. So let's dig here. You also get XP for finding secrets as well. I guess that's just to kind of incentivise you to actually explore. Barmer's robe gives protection and vitality. And now, because Galden's in the back row, he doesn't technically need these items anymore. So let's put them where they can't. You may as well give that to Jasmin actually. It's a strength-based weapon. Yeah, we'll keep that for now. Is it worth giving it to Galden? Yeah, you can't even use it, so yeah. So let's progress to the end of the level now and fight the boss. So just to make sure, I actually prefer to scatter my healing potions over 2 squares rather than 1. So in an emergency, if I quickly have to click on something, I'm more likely to actually connect with the healing potion if they're scattered over several squares. And I guess these can be backup items for Jasmin once she fires all of the rocks. So let's use that horn of summoning now. do here is just keep moving. Try not to get trapped. Nice, we've got him down to half health already. That's good progress. Try and stay in the middle of the room if you can, and really try your very best not to get trapped. Hopefully we'll get a kill one pretty soon. Oops. One down. Nice. And not having to use a health potion there was quite handy. But yeah, stay mobile and you should be good to go in that fight. I left a stone behind here, so I'll pick that up. I don't think I'll be needing them for much longer. So let's do a quick check. So yeah, pretty close to level 3 here, and a couple of more level ups. So I think now's a good point to cut the video at the end of the first level. Pretty successful trip through Shipwreck Beach. I think we've found 3 secrets so far. Up 2. So thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you next time.